Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. For the third day in a row, I guess we'll stay with the unfortunate subject of the Benue killings. Yesterday we thought we'd just about done most of it and it was about to be wrapped up, but apparently not so. Now governors, the governors are getting involved, there are accusations that neighboring governor, that the killers came from, a neighboring state. So all of this has just become something of a problem. So I guess we'll look at that today. And my guest is, Mr. Denny Kunu. Yeah. He's a public affairs analyst. And still to join us is Colonel Hassan Stanlabo, retired. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Yori,
Since the beginning of this year, they say over 70, somewhere about 70, 71 people have been killed, well, essentially by Miyetti Allah, members of that association.
Kautal Hore.
Yes. Well, actually, there's Miyetti Allah, and now there's Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore. But, we had someone on here yesterday, a Fulani who knows how it works, says that every born Fulani man is a default member of Miyetti Allah. Now, whether branching into Kautal Hore or not is another question. But are you surprised that it would appear that in spite of the best, even if belated efforts of government, this thing seems to still be flaring?
Unfortunately, even when the efforts of government appears proactive, I think you can't put the cart before the horse. And the question you want to ask is, what are herders doing with sophisticated AK-47 rifles? That's the question you need to ask.
That question was asked, and it was said that as far as Nigerian cattle herdsmen are concerned, they don't carry AK-47s. Any such person is, quite frankly, a foreigner.
Well, I think it is more or less avoiding the reality of our experience at the moment. When somebody says, what are they doing with it? It's obvious. Even some of the video footages I have seen where they invaded farms, they didn't know that they've got more or less like monitoring cameras there. I saw these people herding animals with AK-47 rifles. So,
but the point is that, do you know that they were Nigerian herdsmen or non-Nigerian Fulani herdsmen, which sort of complicates the thing?
No, the point is this. When people, foreign or citizens of a country, violate the laws of the land by more or less doing things that contravene the law, where they come from is not what we're talking about. The point is the crime they've committed. And that is why when they come to tell us that they are not from Nigeria, then we'll route them. As a matter of fact, the fact that these people are not from Nigeria should make us be more proactive in protecting those who are the proper citizens of this country. And it is very unfortunate that while some of us are able to put the chicken stewed apart in our respective homes, some of our brothers around the north-central region of this country have had to be written in pains of the killing and losses that they've been suffering. Indeed. Of course. So that's really very sad.
Now, Governor Ortoms, he's been, I won't even go as far as say he's been emotional, but he has said things like, we are being abandoned in Benue State.
Since June of 2017.
Yeah. I'm not about to preside over dead people here. He was with the president. Yeah. We have a clip of that. Let's see, the governor after visiting the president on this same subject. We'll continue that conversation.
Okay.
Recent attacks by herdsmen in Benue State leading to mass killings has left a nasty taste in the mouth of most Nigerians, considering the fact that similar acts of carnage were carried out in Benue State about 2 years ago. The federal government has moved quickly to forestall a repeat of such incidents by mobilizing security personnel to shore up security in the state, which is why the Benue State governor is at the presidential villa to brief President Buhari. Ortom holds the view that if the impunity demonstrated by the herdsmen is to be addressed, the leadership of Miyetti Allah must be arrested for openly boasting that the killings were reprisal attacks to protest the law on prohibition of open grazing in the state and the theft of some cattle.
I've been writing to the security agencies that these people are a threat to our collective interests and they must be dealt with. They must be arrested and prosecuted because we cannot allow impunity to continue to thrive. And of course, threat and no action have resulted to this killing.
The Benue State Governor accuses the leadership of Miyetti Allah of truncating the relative peace the law on prohibition of open grazing in a state had brought, disclosing that the herdsmen militia are camped in neighboring Nasarawa state and cross into Benue State to carry out mayhem on protected villages.
Amongst farmers and herdsmen, they were doing well until this militia coming from this Miyetti Allah and Hore came and attacked us. And they are known, we know where they are. As I talk to you, they are in Tungwa, in our local government. That is where these people are camped and coming to attack people.
The Tunga.
It is an accusation that the Nasarawa state governor has moved to dismiss, considering the fact that the location Tunga in our local government council, which is Benue state counterpart, says the attacking herdsmen are camped, is his hometown. He describes such allegations made by his Benue state counterpart as most unfair, since there are 3 IDP camps in Tunga, which accommodate people who have fled across the border from Benue.
It's very ironic that a place that is supposed to be an area that has become a safe haven can now be called a place where militias are camped. Then in that case, the militias don't need to go as far as to Benue. They have the prey within the vicinity of Tunga to attack. I think this is most unfortunate.
Almakura in turn insists that the implementation of the law of prohibition on open grazing is what led to the crisis, which he says is also affecting Nasarawa state, considering the influx of displaced persons, which his government is duty-bound to cater for. And while allegations and counter-allegations continue to fly in the face of incessant attacks by these herdsmen militia, a quick move by the federal government to bring the perpetrators to book is the only solution to the situation at hand. Tayamudu, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, so the quick, action that Tayamudu, our reporter there, was talking about, that doesn't seem to be anywhere in sight. It would appear that this matter is being seen as complex and complicated.
Well, if you look at it from the angle of complexity, it is simply because the government of the country that has responsibility to cater to the needs of people's lives and property have not done it the expected way. The reason I've said that is this. When killing gets to this scale that it has gotten to, we've seen in times past, particularly, permit me allude to the IPOP situation. We know that the agitations were there. Nnamdi Kanu said what obviously people have categorized as treasonable expressions. They went after him. We don't know his whereabouts according to reports. But of course, we know the kind of action the military took in ensuring that there is peace in that side of town. We believe strongly here, that is for me and many others who perhaps are watching now, that at the scale of things now, the military should have actually been called in to assist the police. Because if the police from Adamawa to some other parts of the country up until Rivers, and now we're talking about Benue, have not been able to demonstrate that they are really capable of handling the situation. On Monday, Yori, these herdsmen, as it were, that are killing, went to a police station in Logo, because we're talking about Logo and Gama local government. When they went to Logo local government, they wanted to attack in the daylight a police station. They were repelled. They actually re-strategized and came back and attacked this police station and slit the throats of 2 officers of the law, just for them to prevent things from happening. Now, before that, that's about over a month ago. That's in 2017, I think in November. 6 policemen were killed in Adamawa. What were they doing? They were trying to prevent the herders from attacking the indigenous people of that place. And 6 officers of the law were killed. And not a single one of these killers were gunned down to caution them. Because if you attack an officer of the law, at that instance, the officer of the law had the opportunity to protect.
You're talking about a policeman?
Policemen, 6 were killed. The records are there for you to check. Now, let me move to Rivers State. 31st to 1st, the man called, talking about Don Wani and some other persons, his lieutenants too, actually caused mayhem and 22 lives were lost. Between 1st, the 6th Division Army there in River State collaborated with 82 Division in Enugu, and they looked for these killers. They first of all traced them to Imo. They didn't get them. They went to Enugu where they got them. And between 1st and 8th, they were able to kill these 3 people that caused the lives of 22. Whereas between that same period and now, we've had 71 persons slaughtered like animals in Benue, and they have not been able to even injure a herder that has accounted for this killing. Then it tells you the kind of country we are. And that is why I say, you don't put the cart before the horse. The question is, we're talking about people wielding AK-47. I read something from Professor Chigbo, that's 3-4 days ago, where he said, the picture or the strategy of those who heard is this. We have people at the baseline who don't really carry ammunition. That's the ones we see. Then we have the militia at the middle of the ladder that are responsible for the reprisals anytime there is any reports that they were cautioned or they were prevented from perhaps taking their animals in the farm. And we're talking about the barons on the upper scale of the ladder that own these animals and bankroll those people who work for them. Now, the first thing we would expect that the investigative authorities do, because this is not a complex situation as they present it to be, where do they get this ammunition from? It is not rocket science, for goodness sake. We've got borders. At least last year, 2 tranches or about 2 containers or 3 containers were actually prevented from coming into the, the inner parts of Nigeria. Particularly the one was traced to Kano, containing what? Ammunition. They could do the same thing, employ the same investigative approach to find out who is paying who, where is this ammunition coming from. These things are not difficult to know. Once they've been able to ascertain where this ammunition keeps coming from, they're able to know, okay, who sponsored this, who imported this. Once you get the importer, where do you get this money from? Who is bankrolling you? Then they move to the next level. Arrest whoever it is, but it doesn't appear that this government has the power to do so. Okay. Let us examine a lot of things and be true to these things. Okay,
I suppose one of the surprising aspects to some observers will be that, look, if this is considered as a threat to our national security.
It is a threat to our national security.
The power available to the federal government to sort it out is not in doubt. Now, why it is not being deployed or why it is being deployed the way it is probably what has a lot of people still scratching their head.
The point is this.
Now,
okay.
Well, I imagine you can't really answer that question. It's for the commander-in-chief. It's for the commander-in-chief.
I agree with you.
Who is a seasoned military expert.
I am not saying that the military are not capable. But I'm saying that
I'm saying that they are not doing it.
No, the point is this.
The police. Now, I've seen police chiefs on television say that, you know what, we're not really trained for the terrain that we have to address.
That is the point is this. If you're not trained to address these issues, if you even look at it, you don't need the authorities to give you answers, Yori. The point is just put 1 and 1 together and you'll understand. Permit me refer again to Adamawa. 6 officers of the law were killed between Zamfara and Sokoto, I think in the past 3 months. They even went as far as kidnapping the commissioner of police or the deputy assistant commissioner of police in Zamfara. There was a time they kidnapped this person and ransom were told maybe something wasn't paid but it was released. How could you go as far as kidnapping one of the leaders of the Nigeria police force and you have to look for a way to pay ransom to get things right? I think that the police appear getting overwhelmed, and it is only okay that they collaborate with other security forces, but it's always on the authority of the president. If you look at it, why would...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you don't have to wait. As the Inspector General of Police, Yori, I don't think you have to wait for the president to tell you to move in with your men, especially when things get to the stage.
Inspector General of Police.
Most definitely.
We're talking about the police and them being inadequate.
No. You have to look at the leadership of the police. You can't talk about the police force and not look at the leadership of the police. Do we need to refer to the allegations surrounding the Inspector General of Police? Maybe that's a discussion for another day.
What are you saying? Maybe I'm not making myself clear.
Make it clear.
The police usually deal with internal matters, civil matters. If there's foreign or external aggression, there is an extent to which the police will be able to go.
The question I want to ask is, was there an external threat in Abia State. Nnamdi Kanu, that was an Abia issue, the southeastern issue. But we got the military deployed. Operation Crocodile Smiles.
Well, you see, I hear you, and it is your.
I only alluded to that for us to get it straight.
It is your prerogative to bring anything in. But you see, I said this yesterday as well in the course of the conversation that
Yes,
look, and I don't want to get into that argument, but in the case of IPOB,
yeah,
they said we want something different from Nigeria. We're not part of Nigeria. We want to be separate. So those are the ideas.
They said.
Those are the ideas that they are canvassing. We have a national anthem. We have our own forces. All those paraphernalia that nobody says to a country. What do you expect the people to do? To take it as a tea party?
No.
But I don't want to get too bogged down with this because the situation on the hands is that too many people are being killed. And it's going on, it's not lessening. The federal government is coming up with some ideas, notions as to what we shall do with it. Let me hear what you think of the proposed federal government cattle colony, which I hear has already been dismissed by, by Governor Ortoms. Say it's not going to solve the problem.
Let me first of all lay the cards bare. The Minister of Agriculture is of the APC extraction. Talking about Governor Ortoms of the APC extraction, the president of the country of the APC extraction. But when core issues come to the front burner, we begin to talk away from political affiliations, but we have to consider where it really hurts. In the first place, the last time I checked the Constitution, the land belonged to the states as administered or controlled by the state governors. So when you tell us as a minister that you are going to create cattle colony, the first thing is, have you aligned this decision? Because it's an embarrassment of national scale that a minister will say they want to create cattle colony and the governor who presides over the administration of land in the state tells you he doesn't even understand what cattle colony means, let alone the allocation of land for whatever it is. Of course, what they told us at that meeting where 5 governors sat with Minister of Interior, that's Abdulrahman Dambaza, was that they're going to set aside about 5,000 hectares of land. But Yori, the question I want to ask you is, these cattle breeders are businessmen. If I were to move away from Lagos to any other part of this country and I would need any land space for business, I pay for that land. I get a title for that land to be able to actually assert my legal ownership of that land. As cattle rearers, you're doing business with the animals. I've never gone to the market, or my wife has never done that, to buy meat for free. So that means I pay to get meat for food and perhaps animal protein. Now, why would you want to set aside certain portions of land not paid for, not allocated according to law by the governors for people who breed these animals? That would be a complete disadvantage to other people who are doing business. In the first place, have we been able to even account for the tax that should come from them? We're talking about paying taxes. I think it is very, very important, Yori, to get all of the indices straight. We have the economic perspective. We have the political perspective. When you want to set aside 5,000 hectares, these lands you intend to set aside belong to the people. What is the compensation plan? We've not even concluded the fact that cattle colony and cattle ranches are registers that have become problematic at the moment. If we switch gears from that, we'll talk about the economic implications. The land belongs to the people. They've been farming on that land for years. They pay perhaps certain amounts of money to the government for the activities they've been doing there. Do you want to take this land free?
While all of this sounds quite eloquent and logical,
okay,
but the truth is, there are problems. There are problems amidst the quest for a solution. Would a cattle colony, for instance, sort the problem out, and then all those problems, we can come and address them? If we had a place so that no Fulani man, Fulani herdsman, I beg your pardon, or for that matter, any kind of a herdsman carrying, trespassing on other people's land, destroying their crops, destroying their farmlands, that wouldn't happen because they have their own space. Now, that idea, on the face of it, seems like a good idea. There are issues, those eloquent things you said. Yeah, administrative, legal,
political,
refinement,
economic implications.
political, economic, but like we tried to sort out the problem of the tanker drivers and we went and found one place, this is where you shall park. Do you think it's a workable solution? The governor has dismissed it.
In the first place, the problem is very obvious. It's in our faces. If the governor that reserves the constitutional right to allocate land has come out to tell the world that he doesn't even understand what cattle colony means, that means there were no prior discussions to the press briefing they gave. It's a surprise submission that they've come out to tell the world that cattle colony will be created. And in the first place, what's a colony? A colony is more or less like a conglomeration of many numbers at a particular location. Let me allude to ant colony, where you have millions of ants at a particular place. That's a colony. When you talk about cattle ranches, it simply means a conglomeration of animals at a particular place. So perhaps we are dealing with confused synonyms here.
You see, I wanted us to see, to sort of look at the idea itself on its own merit.
The idea is already problematic, ab initio.
Okay, let's hear from Obasi, who is calling in from Benue State. Good morning, Obasi. So very unfortunate. See if you can get back in again, Mr. Obasi. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you.
I was saying that ab initio, it's a problematic position. I had expected that they would have had some closed-door session. The governors, the Minister of Interior, this is a proposition from the federal government. They would have actually met with Tom, and of course, Al-Makura of Nasarawa State. We intend to create this. Could you allocate such and such number of plots or hectares to us? Obviously, they didn't...
All this is the methodology.
No, the methodology is what helps solve the problem. The reason why we have tanker drivers everywhere in Lagos is because in proper planning, if you go to Apapa Road, you have residential areas on the other side of where you have tank farms. Their lives are in danger. Maybe 50 years, maybe 100 years. I pray we don't have any explosion. The entire warehouse, coconuts, wharf will be raised because of the volume. I'm saying that if you don't have the proper methodology in place, you don't solve problem. This is a completely wrong methodology of wanting to create a colony without first of all consulting with the respective governors of your intention. They tell you, you want 5,000, we'll give you 2,000 hectares, but we would like you to settle at such and such location. So the government should demonstrate a measure of competence in solving problem. Beyond the accusation of ethnic consciousness of favoritism or nepotism is the fact that this government needs to deploy a measure of competence that it does not appear to have done. And it is where it hurts. We are talking about blood. We don't know, maybe before the end of today, Yori, some other persons will actually lose their lives. So government must do what will help demonstrate or show that indeed it has the capacity to solve problems. Okay. It's become a problematic situation.
I think Josephine is calling in from Aja. Did I get that name right? Aja?
Yeah.
Josephine.
Good
morning, ma'am. Thank you very much for calling in.
Happy New Year. Good to see you again.
Good to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Yes, Uncle Yori, please, I want to appeal to the President of Nigeria that he should pity the people of Benue State. They are suffering. He has taken an oath that if you vote me, that I will protect and save life. According to Senator Shehu Shani, he said when it comes to some matter, they use deodorant, and when it comes to other matter, they will use insecticide. This is clear show of incompetence. He should act as a father. You should not be treating some people important and the rest like nobody, because they are the same. Is the same people. Is from Fulani. That is why he's treating this matter. He knows what to do. If you are telling us that these people, they are foreigners, you are supposed to treat them as a terrorist, because the army, they have the capacity to confront whichever foreigner that is coming to invade your country, killing people like flies every day. They don't want to take action because they are his people. Everybody knows the truth. Okay. He should be proactive and tag them as a terrorist, the same way he did in Abia, and they punish people for it. And those people did not kill anybody. Now they are killing people, and he's covering them up. He should wake up and save the life of Nigeria. And bet you, if this thing continues, 2019, he will not see the light of the day. Nobody will vote him, because we want a president that can protect us and save us from this menace of this Fulani herdsmen. We cannot be eating, he cannot value cow more than the citizen. Cow people in Benue. Save the life of all Nigerians, because it's not only Benue that is going on. How can they be killing people like this? And we have a president, and the president will not say anything, and he's just pretending as if nothing. He can send military there, and they will bring the corporate to book.
Well, thank you very much for calling in, Josephine. You know what I am guessing? All right. So essentially what I think is that the communication strategy out of State House is horrible.
It's terrible.
It's because what Josephine has just finished saying, quite frankly, is a widespread, dare I say the word, misconception, that the president doesn't care. That's not the president we know. However, you look at the evidence, look at what's on the ground, everything Josephine said is being said, and a variation of it just about all over the country. That's the way people feel. Because people are being killed apparently with impunity.
If you look at your...
whatever is... Well, thank you very much. Whatever is being done is not being properly communicated to the people, so people are going the way that Josephine has just gone, that Mr. President is a Fulani man. That's why he's taking a very lenient view. That's why he's looking away. We had a gentleman here yesterday, a Fulani man, who said that Miyetti Allah, every Fulani born is a member of Miyetti Allah. By default, it's just, you know, you're born as an Igbo man, you're born as a Yoruba man, you can't do anything about it. He said almost in similar fashion, whether you've never been in the bush in your life, if you're a Fulani, you cannot deny a link with Miyetti Allah, although they're now adding Kautal Hore.
Miyetti Allah Breeders Association.
So exactly. So I wonder what the difference is between the breeders and...
So the point is, the accusation has come against the people that actually have the appellation Kautal Hore to Miyetti Allah.
But going on to why the communication is so, shall we say, ineffective, if people are still feeling what Josephine is saying. If Josephine couldn't, in the light of myriad of explanations, myriads of presentations, know that something is being done.
Permit me allude to the American democracy, Yori. In the past 1 year of Donald Trump's administration, he has fired about 3-4 persons. Why did he fire them? Anytime they go to the media and what they say contradicts the position of his presidency, it gives them the buys. Now, it is in this administration that we've had the acting chairman of the EFCC come as daggers drawn with the Attorney General of the Federation, and nobody gets fired. It is in this administration that we've seen the GMD of NNPC had a miasmic scuffle with the Minister of State for Petroleum. Nothing was done to them. It is also in this administration...
so we're talking about, you know, I was saying about the communication being ineffective.
Excuse me.
So people think nothing is being done.
Yori, there was a poll taken recently about why marriages break, and 60% of reasons is that communication accounted for it. So the point remains that...
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, sorry, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but Abdul Karim in Niger State is waiting. Good morning, Abdul Karim. Hello, good morning. Abdul Karim in Niger State.
Hello, Uncle Yori. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak on this issue.
You're welcome. Please go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
I want to speak to your guest, Adeni. He spoke from the first time that a container with ammunition was caught in Kano State. They killed their cows. Did the president act on that? It's Fulani, his tribe, that they killed.
So,
and he didn't say
so what you're saying is that you don't buy that line of argument.
In Adamawa State, in Numan, they killed more than... No, in Numan, they killed Fulani more than 30. More than 30, and president didn't alter a word, and he didn't ask. Why is it that people are trying to bring politics and sentiment when it comes into the national issue?
Abdul Karim,
I can tell you there are a lot of killings that go on in a Fulani, and president didn't alter a word, and he didn't act on that.
Abdul Karim.
I'm here on Uncle Yori.
What do you think we can do? I really would like to hear the point of view as an ordinary citizen.
On everything. The things that I think that we can do, IG of the police shouldn't have to wait until the president gives an order.
That's true.
He is the IG. He has to act, not the president. Because the insinuation that some people are telling is that the president is not acting because it's Fulani, his people, that they are killing people. I can tell you a lot of examples after Mambila killing, after Numan of Fulani killing. The president come out and back Fulani, and did he alter a word? And did he clear Jukun people as terrorists? They kill more than 1,000 cows, and they kill lives, and president didn't alter a word. And people are not citing this as an example. All what people are saying is that it's because Fulani that are killing. That's why president remains silent. So we shouldn't play politics with the national issue.
All right.
It's not good for us.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling in, Abdul Karim.
Yuri, I think I have a right of reply, which is to set this record straight. The ammunition, the last one that were actually, prevented from going into the interlands, were actually bound for Kano. The importer actually was from Kano. And what I actually wanted to clear is that not that they actually found the ammunition in Kano. They traced the importer to Kano. All was actually prevented from going in from the Tinkan Island port. So I think that is to set the record straight that it's not that they found the ammunition in Kano, but the importer actually was traced to Kano. That's one. Secondly, the young man who called talked about playing politics. The incident that happened in Taraba, where he said the Fulani were killed, the president ordered, and Abdurrahman Zambazao, the Minister of Interior, went straight to that place with some security officers. Not just police. Army officers actually went with him to help find a solution. So if he said the president didn't speak, of course the president spoke by sending a representative there, a minister. Now, if he also mentioned something about 1,000 cattle killed. The people that were killed in Benue in the past days, we've got video footages. 1,000 cattle is too much to be killed, and for people not to even have a picture of the 1,000 cattle killed. He talked about, don't forget that there was a time the spokesperson for Miyetti Allah Leadership said, people jumped and drowned because their animals were killed. Yori, I believe that we even have reporters across this country who obviously give us on-the-spot accounts of incidences. I'm not saying maybe cattle weren't killed. I've not said maybe people weren't killed. But to say that 1,000 cattle were killed and another 1,000 stolen, to say people jumped into the river, and not a single video footage of all these distasteful incidences, I think it calls to question the kind of reportage that could be called yellow page journalism in this profession.
Okay, I hear you. I really would like to get beyond, I understand it, but beyond the blame game,
yeah,
I'd really like to get onto solutions. But
yes,
that's
important
for
us.
Difficult for now because it's it's so raw and it's such an emotional issue, and one has to be empathetic. But Kole Inisheri, good morning, sir. How do you see it?
Good morning, I'm okay.
How do you see it?
Yeah, I want to speak on this issue going on TVC.
We're waiting for you, Kole.
Okay, hello?
Kole, we can hear you.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Yeah. You see, the issue is this. It's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria, this is happening in this 21st century. Is very, very unfair. Even though we in the city, we have blood running in our veins. These people, they are humans. The state government, the federal government, to my mind, they have failed in their responsibility as a government to secure lives and properties of Nigerians. Remember in the 80s, the Metasini, or what do you call them, the Metasini, the military moving. Within a few days, it was quenched. Look at it now. Lives are being lost as if they are chickens. The presidency should do something. Not only the president this time around, the people surrounding the president, they should put on their thinking cap. They should do something.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Kole. Really appreciate your call. Because what Kole just said there at the end, that we need to do something. In particular, the president should do something.
It has to be done.
Now this is the big... You see, I want to go back to... I can't imagine the president twiddling his thumbs. This is the problem I have. I can't imagine that it's not uppermost on his mind. So I want to go back to that whole matter about his whole communication or PR machinery.
Yes, I was to say,
they're not letting us know in sufficient, shall I say, to a sufficient extent to stem all these matters of that. It's because Mr. President is a Fulani.
No, the point is, Yori, for the benefit of
because
the doubt.
There are those who will be perhaps a bit more enlightened than that, who have relations, who have personal relations with him and will know differently. But I think Josephine started it off on for us this morning, what everybody is saying.
Let me say this, that for the record, since I came on board, I have not accused the president from the angle of being a Fulani. I have not even mentioned that.
You haven't.
And that's for the record.
You haven't.
That simply means he's a president of Nigeria, and I've not actually, more or less associated him with a segment of the country. But you have a call? So what I'm saying in essence is this, Yori. It is very, very important for the president to demonstrate empathy. In what way? If you look at the killings that have happened in Rivers and the rest of it all, it would have been ideal if the president had just quickly gone to visit Benue and Nasarawa to say,
okay,
I am sorry for these losses, I'm doing something. There's a way you touch lives.
This is a matter of, it's important, but again, this is you. This is coming from you.
Obviously, we're talking solutions here.
Yeah, we're talking solutions.
Perhaps is one of the ways to find solutions.
Okay, because, leaders are blamed for actions they take or don't take. I remember President Goodluck Jonathan in his time, they blamed him for not presenting himself at certain places.
Even in the eccentricity of Donald Trump,
yes,
he still knew the importance of milk of human kindness and empathy when disasters happen. Last year, the U.S. suffered floods, fire outbreaks.
I got to bring in Ibrahim from Minna in Niger State, who is waiting to join us. Thank you for holding on, Ibrahim. Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Please, my contribution towards this discussion you are having today has to deal with this. I find it absolutely irresponsible and ridiculous that people will be insinuating that all these killings that are going on, the president is not doing anything because he's a Fulani man. Papa, this is not fair. This is utterly irresponsible to me. Because if not thousands, at least people, even if it is one human life that is being killed, I think it has a lot of value. And then these same Fulani people have been killed in the areas of Numan in Adamawa and some in Taraba State, while the media just chose to turn a blind eye. Nobody raised their hand. Are they any more less Nigerians than these people? That is my point.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
He said something.
Yes.
More or less to corroborate what was said by the earlier caller from Niger State about the people killed in Num and Taraba State. I want to say here for the records that when that killing happened, it was succinctly reported by the newspapers, of course, all the media. It was reported. That's for the records. But we want to, look at the issues as it happens. We are in the eye of the storm in Benue and Nasarawa State at the moment. And we've seen it happen consistently since the end of last year up until Tuesday. And that is why it has become a topic.
That is this reiteration of the problem.
Exactly.
It's the latest.
Exactly. And that
is not new.
It's not new. But of course, this is a very novel dimension and at a higher scale. And it accounts for why we're discussing it now. And I say here again, I am talking here, asking the president that the same way he has been able to do a lot with decimating, that word now, Boko Haram, by using our gallant soldiers to achieve that success, Nigerians, do you know what? When you call on somebody to help you, it is simply because you repose a measure of confidence that the person can deliver. The reason why people are even calling on the president now is because they know he has the capacity and the capability to help solve this problem. Nobody looks to anybody if they find out that you don't have the capacity to solve a problem. So at the moment, we could look at a positive from this, that why they have been calling on the president to do this is because they know that he has the onions to deliver. If he could achieve that with the marauding and terrible, nefarious Boko Haram sect, then what does it take to deal with these people that at some point have been described as foreigners? And I say here that that is why the president must do it as fast as possible, by also asking or commanding, whatever appropriate terminology that must be used, the military to collaborate with the army and to collaborate with the Niger Police Force to help bring this to a stop. It is very, very important. The president has the capacity to do that. And I also have to say here that for Nigerians, it is not ideal that everything that happens we tilt it towards the Fulani issue. And it is also very wrong, Yori, for the president not to have spoken when Fulani herders killed or when Fulani herders were killed.
Exactly.
So on both sides, the president should speak.
Well, yeah, it's a communication. Well, communication is part of the issue.
It is core here.
Okay.
It is core.
Adamu in Sokoto, thank you very much for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Please go ahead.
My contribution here is on this issue. Please, for God's sake, let us tread with caution because of the situation is very. I saw all the pictures in Benin on the social media. Yeah. Definitely, it is happening. To see this kind of thing is happening. Let us rally round and go back to the drawing board so that we have stakeholders that will come to the help of these Benin people. The only thing that I want to, there are some saboteurs in the whole issue. You will find some Fulani men definitely doing this, but there are some others maybe that will be disguising as Fulani, cause havoc, just to discredit the politics, or to hit of the politics. So let us be careful. Even this morning I saw some pictures that some armed men who are not Fulani men. On the social media, I don't know the credibility of pictures. About 5, and they say about there are about 200. All of them they are armed with AK. They were arrested in Benin. I saw it in social media this morning. So, what are we heading to? Let us go to the drawing board of the solution of this thing. Let us not be putting personal interest inside. Let us go to the reality. Okay. Whoever is involved, let him be brought to book.
Indeed, thank you very much. And I think, as I remember it, Governor Ortom, one of the things he's saying is that Miyetti Allah particularly, they need to be prosecuted, apprehended, prosecuted to show a sincerity of purpose.
As a matter of fact, we have about 4 of them in custody from the accounts that we have. Yes. But one thing that is also very important is we have to be proactive in solving any problem of national scale. He said he has written, or that he had written to the president and had been repeatedly calling since June 17, or June 2017.
Oh, you're talking about the governor?
The governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, he's been talking about this, you know,
That's why he said we've been abandoned.
Well, so if you look at it, between June and December, that's 6 months, and I say here only 4 persons were arrested and the killings have been repeated. I have lived in Nasarawa State, Yori. I have been to Benue State. It's a border town. I know the towns around. And I have to say that there are areas you go to why some of these attacks may not be more or less nipped in the bud easily, simply because of the way the topography of the area and the kind of way that it is more or less far apart from the towns.
You see,
but no matter what the situation is, if people could cover Sambisa Forest and achieve results, what is there between Nasarawa and Benue that cannot be achieved? I believe that we have the capacity. Let us say...
You know, I think both sides have to really chill. Although there are those who will say that, wait a minute, we are sitting down on our land. We are chilled already. So this matter about telling us to chill is hardly fair. But why I brought this whole matter about people need to chill is that we had someone yesterday who explained to us what he referred to as the nature and the essence of a Fulani man that people don't understand. And that if you don't understand that, then it's like we're not going to begin to solve this problem. And what he was saying was that the Fulani man no go agree. You do anything, there will be a reprisal. It is how we are. And I was a bit concerned because he was saying this and we said things like, oh, Mosaic law. He said, sorry, call it what you want. I'm just telling you about what is. That's a problem.
And the killings have been repeated. I have lived in Nasarawa State, Yori. I have been to Benue State. It's a border town. I know the towns around. And I have to say that there are areas you go to, why some of these attacks may not be more or less nipped in the bud easily, simply because of the way the topography of the area and the kind of way that it is more or less far apart from the towns.
You see,
but no matter what the situation is, if people could cover Sambisa Forest and achieve results, what is there between Nasarawa and Benue that cannot be achieved? I believe that we have the capacity. Let us say...
I think both sides have to really chill. Although there are those who will say that, wait a minute, we are sitting down on our land. We are chilled already. So this matter about telling us to chill is hardly fair. But why I brought this whole matter about people need to chill is that we had someone yesterday who explained to us what he referred to as the nature and the essence of a Fulani man that people don't understand. And that if you don't understand that, then it's like we're not going to begin to solve this problem. And what he was saying was that the Fulani man no go agree. You do anything, there will be a reprisal. It is how we are. And I was a bit concerned because he was saying this and we said things like, oh, Mosaic law. He said, sorry, call it what you want. I'm just telling you about what is. That's a problem right there.
It's a problem.
But let me quickly bring in Maxwell in Ghana, and then you come back to it. Oh, I left it too late. Maxwell in Tema, Ghana. Please see if you can get back in again. I'm so sorry. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, I was saying this.
So you see, it's not, in fact, I even said to him, would you understand if people thought that was the most arrogant piece of whatever that we've heard of in recent times, that there is the way some people are, they will not forget or forgive, they will come back. Now, all of that, everybody can feel that way, but you're not allowed to feel that way in society.
The truth is this.
That's not society.
Don't forget.
So if people, he said that if we don't understand the basics, it might be as intractable as it is forever.
It appears intractable, but we can have solutions. The solution is to make everybody equal before the law. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. And what is sauce for the goose should be sauce for the gander. It appears not so. And that is why some people feel they can act and get away with it.
That is the problem.
If you talk
being
about
able to act and get away with
yes.
it. And among those actions are actions that maybe might have been okay thousands of years ago. Maybe in the Quran, maybe in the Bible. There was that kind of thing happened. But hello, this is 2017.
Even if we were in 1960, if you have a society and you don't allow the law take its course, if you have a society and you don't allow the law...
Who is not allowing the law? That's the problem.
The administrators of the law. The law is abstract until given life. So the law is abstract. The law, for instance, this newspaper remains a piece of newspaper with information. It becomes news that add value until you and I take it to read. The constitution of the country gets life when we allow what we supposedly...
but who is preventing? I think it's important. Who is preventing? Who is preventing what you are saying? The ideal you are saying of everybody is equal before the law. It doesn't matter who you are.
Everybody should be equal before the law, but everybody is not equal before the law. And that is why some people will
but you're not going to, the problem we have is that you're not going to write that in an examination and pass.
You're not going to
write that in an examination.
Everything that makes sense in an examination.
You're not going to write that in an examination and pass. Because the accepted thought is that everybody is equal before the law. But as you are saying, we know it is not so.
It is not so. That is why we have to address the inequalities. Because if you don't address the inequalities, you don't solve problems.
Abdul Malik in Kano. Right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, good morning. Sir, the problem we are having is this. We are just too being sentimental. Hello?
Explain it a bit.
Hello? Okay, are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Explain that sentimentality.
We don't want to get the point. You see, we should stop blaming Buhari or any other person. We should just get straight to the point. At least, you can see how these people are being killed on a daily basis. These people, they are human beings. They are not animals. What are we supposed to do now? We should look for a way out. We should look for a solution. How to stop this killing? You understand? The issue of Buhari is a Fulani, it's not a Fulani. That one hasn't come up. We should look for a way to see how we can tackle these people. Because it's very, very wrong. We're all Nigerians. Don't think because where you are now is peaceful and other places. I mean, places like Benue and other places there is lots of violence there, and you feel relaxed. No, it can happen to anybody.
Yes.
I mean, we are not that safe. I mean, let our government do something.
Okay.
We should stop pointing fingers on them.
Indeed.
I mean, let them do something so that everyone will be peaceful.
Thank you very much for calling in. That is the desire of everyone, for the country to be peaceful. One of the things we all of us know, all of us know that, you see, when problems are intractable, it's usually because we are not going to talk the hard truths necessary. No. It's inconvenient to say so. That's what a lot of people would say.
But the point remains that...
That's what a lot of people would say.
And that is where leadership comes in.
People can't be breaking the law with impunity. Someone said here yesterday, a gentleman here said, look, why don't people look towards Fayose, what Governor Fayose did in Ekiti? Who has heard of bloodletting in Ekiti? You won't hear it, and apparently giving kudos to some methodology of Governor Fayose,
the point is
who said he's not going to stand for it.
It's a two-way thing.
He's not going to stand for it.
It's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing because if you have a child, your child believes that by virtue of the blood connection, you should take certain responsibility. Samuel Otom is of the APC. Of course, he jumped ship, for those who do not know, to join the APC. But as it is, he's an APC member, he's carrying the APC flag, he looks to President Buhari as a father. And even if the father disappoints as it appears to be, well, we may not have seen the last of it. The reason Fayose had to take his life in his hands know that Fayose appears to me an orphan. And as an orphan, you perhaps have to struggle extra hard, knowing full well that you don't have any heritage as something you can inherit. So Fayose, as an orphan, has decided long ago. As a matter of fact, when the PDP had no voice, he became the lone voice in the wilderness, and now it's not John the Baptist, but it's Fayose of Ekiti, speaking to issues. Now, what I'm saying in essence is this. Perhaps Governor Otom should come to terms with the fact that he appears to be technically an orphan. And being a technical orphan could mean...
Don't forget that Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President, had said that people should be very, very careful and not politicize this issue.
It is already a politicized...
Not politicize this issue.
That word came too late and too little. Because... you know, there are times that when you occupy positions, the same way...
Sorry, somebody, again, has been waiting on the line. Right. Alaji Latif in Sulere. Apologies. Yes. Good morning, Alaji.
Latif is my name.
Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please, Alaji Latif.
Now, you see, the problem is this. It's not all about the president. It is about the governors. Now, we are talking about Fulani being killed or maimed, or the other side who are being maimed. The issue is we are talking about human beings. Human beings are being killed. There is a rule and a methodology to which things are done in this country. I mean, the law enforcement agents are there, but they should be empowered by the so-called or whoever that the government is in power to give them order. Let them have this order and let them go. Then they can go into this. Other things are happening and they come. Now, how many people have been killed in Benue?
Too many.
Please, we are talking about human beings, not animals.
Indeed.
And the point is that the so-called Fulani said their animal were being stolen or whatever. So is it a life to an animal?
So, all right, then. Well, thank you very much, Alaji. We've run out of time. Appreciate your call. And there's understandably so much anger. And I don't know, sometimes when... understandable anger, because one has to be empathetic.
You can't be losing life.
Yes,
and
one has to be empathetic.
You can't be happy. Now,
but in the midst of all the anger, first of all, I just want my criticism to stand to one side. All the communication people, the whole communication machinery of the presidency, I just don't know what they're doing.
Wobbly.
They're doing what they're doing, but I can't see it. Yeah. Because all these problems would have been addressed, I would have thought. So they're just befuddling the water that is because the president is a Fulani man, is why he's looking away and all of this. It's unfortunate.
They gave room for people to conclude.
It's unfortunate.
That is
and so now that particular balloon is now dominating everywhere and casting a shadow on efforts that are being, tried to sort this whole problem out. As you said, communication is key.
You know, the point is for this.
So About 30 seconds.
This is a complex problem that can be solved first. And the man that can help douse the tension remains the man at the center.
The commander-in-chief.
The commander-in-chief could actually do 2-3 minutes video. Since the communication experts on his employee have not been able to, they've not been able.
You're very particular about your methodology.
The methodology is key to any problem.
Okay.
You can't be beating your child every time and expect an embrace of love.
Okay.
It doesn't happen.
Okay.
So the first thing is the president should show empathy. I know he has measure of empathy in him by first of all speaking to this issue. He doesn't have to visit because it has come
and
to
bringing people to book. Life can't be lost for nothing.
Punished. Let him start with the
life can't be lost for nothing.
Non-Fulani related. Grass cutting scandal. Are you okay of this was still there? The people that are supposed to be equal before the law appears not so because it has not been demonstrated over time. And that is why people are concluding that this president, this administration must do more. And don't forget, the same way the Goodluck Jonathan administration made a mess of the Boko Haram issue and lost the election, there seems to be something similar along the lines. And if this president doesn't do anything, if this administration doesn't do anything, Nigerians have their voter cards ready to do the needful so that whoever would deliver on the cards can come to the way to Aso Rock to do the job.
Let the PR machinery of the president let us know exactly what is going on, how much midnight oil is being burned on this, how perceptions out there are wrong.
Did you say midnight oil?
Yes. Yes.
Leave that for those who are studious.
Yes. How all of these things are being addressed, we just need to know, and perhaps it would go a bit towards explaining and cooling temper, as people said. I know it is, and we've said so. So that's our program. We've heard, that's why we invited you, because we want to hear your perspective. And we've heard that, and we thank you very much for it.
Thank you too for having me.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. Jones Hussein will be in the chair tomorrow. I'm Yori Falani. Bye-bye for now.